Hi everyone, Simon Keeling here, and it is Tuesday the 27th of November. Thanks again for watching weatherweb.net. Remember, the sites get free of charge by the adverts you see around the screen here, and by you coming back and using the site regularly. That means that we can keep all the information up to date on here as well. It generates revenue, which means that we can develop more charts and more services for you. So thank you for doing that. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at Weather School, or do a search on Facebook for Weather School. We're on there too. This is the chart for this afternoon. We've got low pressure centred off eastern England. Look, we've got this rain still affecting many central and eastern areas, but the good news is that that's now fading away. So I think through this afternoon we're going to see the remnants of the rain finally clearing away from southeastern parts of England, and then we should become largely dry overnight. Notice though, we've got this flow that's coming in from the North Sea. It's going to be that flow that comes in from the North Sea, bringing some showers down those eastern coasts of the country. One or two showers as well, okay, just clipping the coast of Kent and perhaps Anglesey, the Clyde Peninsula and down towards St David's. But generally it looks like being a dry night. Now, could be a touch of frost by the morning, could be quite icy too, especially where the roads are wet, and I think the chances of ice really are through southern England and western parts of England, Wales and Scotland. You're going to get a sheltered country road that's sheltered from the wind. The temperatures could drop and we could just find a touch of ice. Now, into tomorrow, a much better day, plenty of sunshine around, ridge of high pressure building in. You notice some showers down these eastern coasts, but generally lots of sunshine around through the day and dry too. Tomorrow night introduces more of a threat of ice, particularly through central and western areas. I think always some showers just running down these eastern coasts of northeast England, East Anglia, the far southeast as well, but to the west I think clear skies and quite a widespread frost, although Western Ireland clouds up during the later part of the night, and then through the day on Thursday we find cloud and outbreaks of rain moving in. For Thursday, that ridge will be spilling its way eastwards. It brings plenty of sunshine again for many on Thursday, although clouding up out here to the west, so western Scotland, Western Ireland, tending to see some outbreaks of rain here. I think elsewhere we just got a chilly day with some sunny spells, one or two showers affecting the coast of East Anglia. Through Friday, well, becoming quite cold and damp, I think, through these western areas of the country. Outbreaks of rain moving in through the day. Eastern parts probably starting off cold and frosty and generally dry, but I do think we've got a problem on Friday potentially with fog, and I think it's going to be through the Midlands, eastern parts of England, northeast England particularly, and it may be that it just doesn't want to clear away in the afternoon. These western areas as well could well go just very murky as the rain moves in, and it could be a really cold day on Friday. Into Saturday, I think a problem again Saturday morning with widespread fog across many parts of England and also Wales, as well as southern parts of Scotland. But the front that's coming through here, we've got a front that's just lying through here. I think that front moving in will introduce drier conditions out towards the west. So we should find that actually less fog is affecting Northern Ireland and parts of Scotland. Through the day on Saturday, I think the front gradually creeps its way southeastwards, takes some outbreaks of showery rain with it. A further front coming in behind, a trough coming through, bringing some showers across the southern uplands and across northern and western parts of Wales. Some snow showers for northern Scotland, but generally dry for many of us, although I still think staying murky well until Saturday afternoon across central parts of the country, and pretty cold as well. Then going into Sunday, ridge of high pressure builds in on Sunday. Again, we could have a problem with fog on Sunday morning, a widespread frost as well, but most places dry with sunny spells. But look, cloud increases from the west during Sunday. It brings rain eastwards overnight into Monday, and then through Monday we're going to find it quite an unsettled day, but milder I think with these westerly winds and periods of rain spreading east, although that rain at first could be quite wintry across the hills of Scotland. Then we go drier overnight to Tuesday, but not for long, because we get a second hit of rain and showers coming into the west on Tuesday. They edge their way eastwards and I think bring some wintry showers across western areas through the middle part of next week, although eastern parts should be staying a little bit drier. Now, how do things develop after that? Well, big question mark at the moment is what goes on, because this is the Canadian temperature trace for the next few days, and you notice we've got that dip downwards look and then the dip upwards in temperatures. So the lowest is around about Friday, Saturday, and then we pick up look again into next week to kind of get back into sixes. This is the forecast for London, by the way. But if you look at the other forecast, I mean, there's Glasgow. You see we've got the same sort of temperature trace. It's cooler, but a fall off in temperature taking place and then a rise into the early part of next week. The ECMWF shows pretty much the same, this sort of curve of the fall in temperature and then the rise into the middle part of next week. Remember, I'll be talking about this date between the 7th and the 9th of conditions turning milder again during that period. And the GFS ensemble, far less accentuated on it, but it shows the dip here, look, and the rise into the early part of next week before then falling off again. So we've got to make a decision as to how this develops. This is how the GFS ensemble sees things developing. It sees let's just get back a couple of days and I can show you. There's the area of low pressure that comes through next week, bringing milder conditions in from the south. It then clears that southwards and reintroduces a cooler northerly wind look coming in around about the 8th or the 9th. So it sees a warming but then loses it quite quickly. Then what the GFS does is it gets us more back into a west or northwesterly flow. So what it's trying to do on the ensemble is to keep us cool, but not cold and not mild. And I can go in between this. I think, as I've said all along, I thought temperatures would be around normal to around a degree below normal during this period from about the 9th to the 15th or 16th of the month. And the GFS, if you notice what it does here, is it then tries to build the ridge back in to the Atlantic look, but then it makes us milder or brings in this southwesterly flow by the time we're getting through to around the 12th of the month. So it is seeing this signal of milder weather trying to get in towards the end of the model period. Now this is how the ECMWF sees it. It's got our ridge look out in the Atlantic. There's our cold northerly flow through the country this weekend. So what it tends to do is it loses this area of low pressure, then it develops it again, moves it away towards the east, and then it tries to build the ridge back into the Atlantic, but that ridge really doesn't last very long. Look, if I just put those charts back, this is the chart for Monday, look, there's the ridge in the Atlantic, but just look at this trough that comes in behind. That trough overruns the ridge on Tuesday, look, there it goes, it's overrun the ridge. This trough then joins up with this trough through Europe, and a further ridge builds out towards the west. So there we go into the 5th, and even by the 6th, look, it's got another area of low pressure coming in to the west and sinks that southeast through the country around the 7th. Now the problem here is that despite the ECMWF giving us this temperature trace, actually when you look at the charts, that setup with that low coming in, if that swings in, let me just clear that, if that swings south in that direction, which it looks like it will do at the moment, could well bring a period of significant snowfall to the northern half of the country. So we've got this big question mark, but what the ECMWF then does is it builds the ridge back into the west again, and I think that's shown us signs of milder conditions trying to get in towards the beginning part of the month. So we've got this big question mark, this big maelstrom taking place around about the 5th to the 7th or the 8th as the changeover, I think, going back into milder conditions. But we have to bear in mind it could be wintry for a time over northern Britain before we get to that stage. Just one other chart I wanted to show you. This is from the Korean long range model, which has just updated, and we are in here. Okay, so you have to twist your head round to see these charts, but there we are. Now what this shows is this is the period middle of December, so from the 10th until the 20th of the month, and what it's showing is the ridge. Look, our ridge is out here, it's across eastern Russia with a steep trough through the UK and below normal height. So that's showing a westerly flow, but it's a cool westerly flow. So again, I stick with the idea of temperatures being around 0 to about minus 1.5 Celsius below normal for the time of year during this period. The Korean backing it up. Then what it does, late December, look, it builds the heights. It builds our ridge back in and it links it through to the ridge across Canada. So we're kind of in that area there, showing us these red colours, showing us higher heights. Now what that could do is it could bring higher pressure in here, and that would result in the easterly winds or southeasterly winds coming through the country with a trough somewhere in here. Now what happens there is that low pressure is over the Atlantic, shooting south through the Bay of Biscay area into Europe, higher pressure up here over the north of the UK, and that would bring cold conditions through much of the UK, but the potential for wintry conditions across the southern half of the country. So the chance of this cold weather coming back in late December, and then early January, well, it builds a deep trough out in the Atlantic, builds a ridge out here across Spain, and effectively puts us into much milder southwesterly conditions. So it's sticking with my idea, this idea of getting milder, but milder with a lowercase m, because still with temperatures at or just below normal the middle part of December, before we take a hit of really cold weather later on in December, and possibly wintry then for a time. Interesting times ahead, as always. Thank you for watching. Remember, the sites get free of charge by the adverts around the screen, but for now, thank you for watching. Keep the sun shining. Whew, I think I need a bit of a rest after that one. Bye for now. Keep the sun shining.